for performing, for all the right reasons. Give yourselves a big round of applause. It's always a really great vibe here. We always love you guys. Thank you for being here, guys. We had four of our faculty members judging this portion of the competition. Each routine got a score on a scale of 1 to 100. The lowest score is dropped. The remaining scores are added together, and then based on that lump sum, each routine goes home with a set of medallions. The lowest you can get here is a bronze. Above that is a silver, then a high silver, then a gold, then a high gold, then something called a stop the clock. Guys, when I call your group name, send one person to the back to pick up your medallions. Congratulations. It's almost bedtime. 341 from Columbia City Jazz, Follow the Light, receives a high gold. 342 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, The Invisible, receives a high gold. 343 from Rhythm Dance Center, I Hope My Life, receives a high gold. 344 from Southern Strut, Grid, receives a Stop the Clock award. 345 from Steps in Motion, Thunder, receives a gold. 345A from the dance company Slow Me Down, receives a gold. 346 from the Dance Center, I'm Empty, I'll Stay, receives a high gold. 347 from GAC Dance Team Castle, receives a high silver. 348 from Columbia City Jazz, Intertwined, receives a high gold. Number 349 from Havila Dance Company, Work It Out, receives a gold. 349A from Southern Strut. It's going to be a long award session, guys. I'm just kidding. 349A from Southern Strut, Finally Home, gets a Stop the Clock award. 350 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, Heart in My Hands, receives a high gold. 350A from G Rhythm Performing Arts Center, Forever Young, receives a gold. 351 from Rhythm Dance Center, Shelter, receives a high gold. 352 from BDC Brits, Knock Out, receives a high silver. 353 from Southern Strut, How Many Times, receives a high gold. 354 from Steps in Motion, Sounds, receives a high gold. 355 from Columbia City Jazz, Cold, receives a high gold. 355A from the dance company Up in Here, receives a gold. 356 from Ballet Institute, Line of the Nine, receives a high gold. 357 from AIM, Bloody Sunday, receives a high gold. 358 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, Lil Dreamer, receives a high gold. 359 from Rhythm Dance Center, Rhythm and the Beast, receives the Stop the Clock award. 359A from Columbia City Jazz, Rebel, receives the Stop the Clock award. Number 360 from the Dance Center, Sorry for Us, receives a high gold. 360A from G Rhythm Performing Arts Center, Halftime, receives a gold. 361 from Blue Ridge, Journey from Within, receives a gold. 363 from Southern Strut, Prism, receives a high gold. 364 from Steps in Motion, I'm Drowning, receives a high gold. Number 365 from GAC, Bird Girls, receives a gold. 367 from Rhythm Dance Center, I Found, receives a high gold. Number 368 from Havila Dance Company, Dangerous Woman, receives a high gold. 369 from Columbia City Jazz, Release Me, receives a high gold. 370 from Southern Strut, Vibology, receives a high gold. 378 from G Rhythm, Light Me Up, receives a gold. 371 from Steps in Motion, Technical Difficulties, receives a high gold. 372 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, Freedom, receives a high gold. 373 from Rhythm Dance Center, Jump Shout Boogie Oogie Oogie, receives a Stop the Clock award. 374 from Columbia City Jazz, Concerto in D minor, receives a high gold. 375 from the Dance Center, Steam Heat, receives a high gold. Number 376 from BDC Pirates, receives a high silver. 377 from Southern Strut Formation, receives the Stop the Clock award. 378 from Columbia City Jazz, Kiss It Better, receives a high gold. 379 from Rhythm Dance Center, The Butlers, receives a high gold. 380 from Steps in Motion, Have Some Love, receives a high gold. 380A from G Rhythm, How Deep is the Ocean, receives a gold. 381 from GAC, Alone, receives a gold. 381A from Southern Strut, 4 Degrees, receives a Stop the Clock award. 382 from Havila Dance Company, Different, receives a high gold. 383 from the Dance Center, When the Stars Align, receives a high gold. 384 from Columbia City Jazz, On Guard, receives a high gold. 385 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, The Center Cannot Hold, receives a high gold. 386 from Havila Dance Company, God's Army, receives a high gold. 387 from Southern Strut, Raise Your Voice, receives a Stop the Clock award. 388 from Steps in Motion, Cold Hearted Snake, receives a gold. 389 from Ballet Institute, Torn, receives a high gold. 390 from G Rhythm Performing Arts, this is Jersey, receives a gold. 391 from BDC, Team BDC receives a gold. 392 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, New York Knights receives a high gold. 393 from the Dance Center, She Used to Be Mine receives a Stop the Clock award. Number 394 from Southern Strut, Boot Camp receives the Stop the Clock award. 395 from Steps in Motion, Hyper Ballad receives a gold. Number 396 from Columbia City Jazz, Nova Garakau receives a Stop the Clock award. 397 from GAC Dance Team, Rise Up receives a gold. 398 from Havila Dance Company, Speaking German receives a high gold. 398A from Southern Strut, Wolves receives a high gold. 400 from Rhythm Dance Center, The One receives a high gold. 400A from G Rhythm, My Baby receives a high gold. 401 from AIM, Use What You Got receives a gold. 402 from Columbia City Jazz, At a Loss receives a Stop the Clock award. 403 from Southern Strut, Bring on the Men receives a Stop the Clock award. 404 from Steps in Motion, September receives a high gold. 405 from the Dance Center, Carnival receives a high gold. 406 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, Where My Eyes Can See receives a Stop the Clock award. 407 from Rhythm Dance Center, Panda Express receives a high gold. 408 from Columbia City Jazz, Hello Dolly receives a high gold. 409 from BDC Home receives a high silver. 410 from Southern Strut, Kanochi Pop receives a Stop the Clock award. 410A from G Rhythm, Signed Sealed Delivered receives a high gold. 411 from Steps in Motion, Welcome to the Grammys receives a high gold. 412 from Dance Makers of Atlanta, Trap Time receives a high gold. 413 from GAC, Te Amos receives a gold. 414 from Columbia City Jazz, At the Movies receives a Stop the Clock award. 415 from the Dance Center, Everything Gold, Gold Everything receives a high gold. 415A from Southern Strut, Friend Like Me receives a Stop the Clock award. 416 from Rhythm Dance Center, No Scrubs receives a high gold. High score Teen Duo Trio. We announced the top 3 scores for Teen Duo Trio. There is a tie for the 3rd highest scoring Teen Duo Trio, The Invisible from Dance Makers of Atlanta. Tying with Sounds from Steps in Motion. 2nd high score Teen Duo Trio goes to Cold from Columbia City Jazz. High score Teen Duo Trio, Follow the Light from Columbia City Jazz. Moving into Teen Small Group, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. 3rd high score goes to Torn from Ballet Institute of Atlanta. 2nd high score Teen Small Group, I'm Empty, I'll Stay from the Dance Center. High score Teen Small Group is Rebel from Columbia City Jazz. Moving into Teen Line, 3rd high score goes to Vibology from Southern Strut. 2nd high score Teen Line goes to Grid from Southern Strut. High score Teen Line goes to Nova Garakau from Columbia City Jazz. Moving into Teen Extended Line, 2-way tie for the 3rd highest scoring Teen Extended Line. First up is from Rhythm Dance Center. Senior Small Group, 3rd high score goes to Because This Must Be from Dance Makers of Atlanta. 2-way tie for the 2nd highest Senior Small Group, Senorita from Rhythm Dance Center, tying with Absence from Rhythm Dance Center, 3rd high score. First up, Bad Karma from Rhythm Dance Center. Also, 3rd high score Senior Line, Militant from Dance Makers of Atlanta. 2nd high score Senior Line is Wolves from Southern Strut. 2-way tie for the highest score out of all senior lines. 1st place, Finally Home from Southern Strut, tying with 4 Degrees from Southern Strut. Senior Extended Line, 3rd high score is Friend Like Me from Southern Strut. 2-way tie for the 2nd highest score out of all senior extended lines. This is Halloween from Rhythm Dance Center, tying with Move Back from Rhythm Dance Center. And your highest scoring senior extended line is Rain from Dance Makers of Atlanta. First place high score senior production goes to Purple Rain from Rhythm Dance Center. These are high scores by performance division. We just announced the first place, starting with teens. High score out of all teen ballet routines is Torn from Ballet Institute of Atlanta. The highest scoring teen contemporary routine is At a Loss from Columbia City Jazz. High score teen hip hop boot camp from Southern Strut. High score teen jazz Where My Eyes Can See from Dance Makers of Atlanta. High score teen lyrical She Used to Be Mine from the Dance Center. High score teen musical theater Rhythm and the Beast from Rhythm Dance Center. High score teen specialty Formation from Southern Strut. High score teen tap Kiss It Better from Columbia City Jazz. Moving on to seniors. High score senior contemporary is Hopelessness from Columbia City Jazz. High score senior hip hop is Rain from Dance Makers of Atlanta. High score senior jazz Militant from Dance Makers of Atlanta. High score senior lyrical X Factor from Dance Makers of Atlanta. High score senior musical theater is Friend Like Me from Southern Strut. High score senior specialty This Is Halloween from Rhythm Dance Center. High score senior tap Senorita from Rhythm Dance Center. Couple more awards and we're done, guys. These are called our 11 o'clock number awards. We've already announced them for all of our other age groups. Right now I have them to announce for teens and seniors. We've had as little as one representing each age group. We've had as many as 7, I believe. It really speaks to what you guys are doing up here, and you guys